Coming up on Mountain News at 6, the Kentucky General Assembly is back in session. We'll take a look at what's on lawmakers' agendas. And the city of Prestonburg is preparing for a public meeting this week to address a hazard mitigation project years in the making.
Plus a first alert for a busy weekend forecast. Those details coming up as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
The state legislature is back underway. The 2024 session began at noon today. There's been some questions raised over rules and the process and procedures. Much of the debate over that took place in the House. We are also learning a little more about some lawmaker priorities. WYMT's Phil Pendleton is in Frankfort with more on what took place today.
Ceremony and swearings in mark the first day of the 2024 legislative session.
If so, say I do. I do.
After the state's constitutional officers all took their oaths in a packed rotunda, it was off to the gaveling in of each chamber. Now, no bills have been brought up for votes yet. It's too early for that. But there was plenty of debate over process and procedure.
I personally have experienced the lack of transparency that comes with committee substitutes, and they're delayed sometimes the day of, that we get to see them before we as legislators have to take votes on them in committee.
But the concept that it is somehow an insurgency or an attack to have this discussion, to propose rules, to have that conversation is very detrimental to this process.
The budget will be the main item for this year. We're still trying to get a grasp on exactly what the House and Senate will be voting on. Speaker Osborne stating that it's too early to say exactly. However, Governor Beshear has proposed a spending plan of about $130 billion, which he says will be the largest in state history. He also says there is a very healthy and robust rainy day fund. The spending plan will start in the House. Speaker David Osborne says their bill could be ready within the next week. One issue that Governor Beshear and Democrats have been pushing is universal pre-K.
But I think everybody understands that we need to work on something related to providing daycare and having access to quality daycare, not just during a school day or a school year.
We are very supportive of the governor's Education First budget points that he talked about, raises for teachers and all public employees.
Legislative leaders did say they believe there are items both sides can agree on that'll be included in the budget. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
The legislature will meet a total of 60 days and must adjourn by April 15th. Today, Kentucky Together introduced its campaign for a budget that will help Kentuckians. The General Assembly has collected $3.7 billion in the Budget Reserve Trust Fund, commonly known as the Rainy Day Fund. It is projected to be nearly $5 billion by next summer. Kentucky Together is calling for lawmakers to use part of the fund to address affordable housing, better disaster response, and more.
By using state dollars to finally help those of us who were impacted by the floods, we need funding for housing recovery and mental health, and we still desperately need supplies.
The news conference also highlighted the need for better funding for public schools, better pay for teachers, and the need to focus on conservation efforts in the state. With the legislative session underway in Frankfort, many educators are eager for the outcome of the budget. Governor Beshear proposed an 11% increase in teacher pay that needs to be approved during this session. We spoke with the superintendent of Knott County Schools about what this could mean for the future of education.
Improved compensation not only recognizes teacher dedication, but also helps attract and retain talented teachers that is crucial for our student success. Legislative improvements are promising, but good, sustainable funding and long-term support for our educators remain essential considerations for the overall growth and stability of our educational system.
Hoover also says that in Knott County, they have given raises for the past couple of years, including a 3% raise last year. Governor Beshear is getting ready to give his State of the Commonwealth address. The governor will give the speech tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. He's expected to discuss his policy agenda and reflect on his first-term achievements. Some of the things being predicted that he could tout are sports betting and medical marijuana being passed in the General Assembly last year. A Laurel County man is behind bars after police say they found drugs on him. Yesterday, deputies with London PD received complaints about a person possibly intoxicated inside Walmart. When deputies found 41-year-old Joshua Denson, he reportedly had trouble keeping his balance and his speech was slurred. A large amount of crystal substance believed to be meth was found in Denson's possession. He was taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center. Memorial services are going on right now for a young East Tennessee Rescue Squad member killed in a car crash. 19-year-old Brianna Marshall was part of the Claiborne County Rescue Squad. The sheriff says Marshall was driving on a slick road when she skidded off and hit a tree. The family will receive friends until 7 p.m. at the Claiborne Overholt Funeral Home. A funeral service will follow. Graveside services are tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Well, we are tracking a nice sunset from our Buffalo Mountain camera over in Perry County. As you can see, as the sun sets, those temperatures are falling down to 34 degrees over at Buffalo Mountain. But as high pressure continues, we are tracking some more dry weather as we go into this evening, also tonight. But notice as we zoom out, we are tracking this next weather system, this cold front. Now, this is a weak cold front, so we're not expecting those big problems, but possibly a few flakes or a few raindrops by late Wednesday, also by Thursday. But once this system passes, we are cooling down big time by Thursday. Highs back in the upper 30s. Most of us right now in the middle to upper 30s and a few lower 40s as well. Up to 41 for Harlan, 40 for London, 37 for Middlesboro, and 34 over in Pikeville at this hour. So we are tracking some more cool weather as we go into this evening. Those low temperatures as you wake up on Wednesday in the upper 20s. And once again, as high pressure sits over the mountains, we are tracking some more dry weather. Also some partly to mainly cloudy conditions, and those temperatures are chilly as you wake up on Wednesday. But big changes on the way by this weekend. It's possibly a few areas of wintry mix are possible. Those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. With the threat of winter weather looming during the next week or so, it's time to plan ahead, and that means checking those tires, ensuring you can be safe when hitting the roads. The first thing you need to do is do not ignore the check tire pressure light. Experts say that adequate tire pressure is a must before hitting the roads. Inspect your tires at least once a month and before long road trips. You should also look at the tread and sidewalls for any cuts, punctures, bulges, scrapes, cracks, or bumps.
You want to have some tread. You don't want to be out there on some skinnies, some bald tires trying to maneuver around in the slick stuff. So there's the penny test where you flip Abe Lincoln's head over, and if any of his head disappears, then you're going to be okay. And if you can see the top of his head, then you need your tires replaced.
Experts say it's important to plan ahead and give yourself extra time to drive in the elements. The Letcher County Airport Board announced they have received approval from state and federal officials to build a new airport. The airport will be located in Isom near the Double Quick. Pine Mountain Partnership Executive Director Jeffrey Justice says they received help from Congressman Hal Rogers in getting approval. While Justice says he does not think the airport can solve every issue, the county will benefit.
It's not going to be a silver bullet. It won't fix our economy. I want to be very clear about that. No one project will fix an economy. But we have much more opportunities to build things if we have access to an airport.
Justice says they plan to have the airport built within the next 5 years. He says emergency response can be faster too. When it rains, it pours in one Prestonburg community that's been waiting for drain repairs in the creek system for nearly 10 years. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more about the future plans to fix the flooding.
Flooding has been an ongoing concern for many people on Mays Branch Road.
The flooding has actually been around a lot of homes. It's done a lot of damage to some of the homes, some of the yards, some of the driveways. It's gotten up into some houses where it never had gotten up before.
After the area was acquired into city limits years ago, Mayor Les Stapleton says maintenance issues on the creek and drainage system were obvious.
In one area, we had a 36-inch pipe emptying into a 24-inch pipe. That's not a hydraulic problem, that's a math problem there. It doesn't work that way.
The city applied for funding to begin the Mays Branch Hazard Mitigation Project to address the concerns. And the funding was originally awarded in 2016.
Hey, we actually had the money pulled from us, the funding pulled from us, and we got it back. Had it pulled from us again, we got it back, and then COVID hit.
Now, with the funding back in Prestonburg, officials are hosting a public meeting to discuss the plans for progress. Unable to do everything originally planned due to the passing of time and inflation.
But in 2016, we could have done the whole project. In 2024, we cannot do the whole project for that. So we're going to concentrate on the areas with the most damage or the most life-threatening situations.
Stapleton says the plan is to pinch every penny of the $880,000 the city has to work with, addressing two main problem areas on Mays Branch and two issues on Fred's Fork.
We'll be replacing that. Like I said, it's a 2016 project. I hate that it's taking this long, but we've done everything we can to make this happen.
Fixing the flow to avoid future flooding. In Prestonsburg, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
The public meeting to hear the plans is set for Thursday at 6 p.m. at the Mountain Arts Center. Stapleton says he encourages those impacted to come so they can hear why the chosen sections of the project are the primary focus. The KY Help statewide call center has extended its hours during the week. The screening and referral specialist will now be available from 7 a.m. till 10 p.m. Monday through Friday. The hours on Saturday and Sunday will remain the same from 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. The call center opened back in December 2017. The phone number for the call center is there at the bottom of your screen, 1-833-859-4357.
Well, we are dry this evening, but big changes are on the way as we go into this weekend. Your first alert forecast coming up. Plus,
the Kentucky River Area Development District food truck is busy serving folks 60 and older in several counties.